Well, I'll try to get my friends here to join us. You want to come over? Come on. Come on. For Halloween Extravaganza, 42nd Street Pete Grindhouse style. Got to indulge myself because my fucking back is killing me. But anyway, here's Blanca here, if you can see Blanca. She's a little bit fucking sad. She's getting lumps and stuff. And you hear Boots gurgling in the background drinking. But people have been asking about the girls. So I figured let me see if I can get the girls on camera. Because we only got one more episode after this one. So we'll make this one some really fucking creepy, weird ass shit with the monster of Piedras Blancas. That used to run on Schiller Theater, and I have said this before, that is the movie that broke my nose. I'll elaborate. Here's Boots. Boots, come here. Come here. She's really getting, weirded with the dementia and shit. She kind of doesn't know who I am sometimes, and I just had to get her in. She wanders around. But anyway, back to the monster. This thing was created using parts of the costume of the creature from the Black Lagoon, the feet of the Metaluna mutant, the hands of the mole people, and they created this really nasty fucking head that was really made the creature from the Black Lagoon look like some kind of kid show host. But anyway, the whole thing is that this thing is being fed by a lighthouse keeper who has a hot, sexy daughter, played by Jeannie Carmen. And he's been feeding it, and all of a sudden he tells people not to go fishing over there, and the Rinaldi brothers go over there, and they're found decapitated, and he said, I told you this was going to happen. And, of course, he isn't too well liked by the townspeople. And Don Sullivan is the romantic lead in this, too. Remember Don Sullivan from The Giant Gila Monster? Yeah, he's in this. So is Les Tremaine, and some guy with really big ears who plays the sheriff. But anyway, the monster is rampaging, and there's a funeral for the Rinaldi brothers. And prior to that, we saw the shopkeeper, Mr. Kolchak, I think his name, or Kochek or something like that, who was pretty much spreading the stories about the monster of Piedras Blancas. Well, he's working late one night and left his door open, and guess what? He's visited by the shadow of a monster, which is pretty effective. So now during the funeral, this little kid decides to go down and get some gum. He walks in and finds the body, runs back to the funeral, and goes, Mom, he didn't have any head. Well, it gets even worse than that, because there's a guy walking up the street carrying the body of his decapitated daughter. Now, this was a real no-no, too. Usually, children weren't victims back in, the 50s horror movies and stuff like that. But yeah, this one really broke that taboo. But they sort of can't find the monster. So they're going back looking for this guy, Eddie, who they told to put Kochek's body in the freezer. When all of a sudden there's a roar, and the sheriff comes staggering out, and this fucker comes out carrying Eddie's severed head. Well, at that point, I dove for the TV set, tripped over the ottoman, and smashed the bridge of my nose across the metal frame of the TV. So that was broken nose number one. So anyway, back to the thing, they're chasing the monster, they find the severed head in the cave, and this thing has decided to head back to the lighthouse where Jeannie is in semi-nude in her bathrobe or whatever, and it grabs her and carries her out. Well, the father comes to, starts shooting the creature. This thing ends up in the top of the lighthouse where the hero slams it with a rifle butt because its eyes are sensitive to light, and they turn on the beacon and it flies back into the sea, presumably dead because there was no sequel. Really, really good monster movie, and really effective, and just the point where, a lot of shit just came out of left field and scared the fuck out of you, and then breaking the taboo with that young girl that gets decapitated. So, yeah. Olive Films put this out on a Blu-ray. I don't know if it's still available. I got a funny feeling Olive's Films is not available anymore, but I don't know. And our second feature, part of a double bill, which is kind of weird because I caught this at a kiddie matinee. And the original double bill was The Crawling Hand and the Slime People. Well, they showed The Crawling Hand paired with something else 1 week, and then 2 weeks later they showed The Slime People paired with something else. Out of the two films, I sort of think The Crawling Hand is better. It stars Peter Brick, Kent Taylor, Alan Hale, the skipper, Allison Hayes, and the Swedish sensation Stiffy or Skiffy or whatever syndrome, whatever the fuck it is. There was a scene in the movie when we saw it at the Kitty Matinee where she was disrobing on the beach and was nothing bad about it, but the projectionist put his finger in front of the camera to fuck us up. So the whole thing is, you know, there's some guy shot into space and he hasn't tuned in for like, I guess, 2 hours or something. Then he pops up on the screen and it realized that this guy has no oxygen. He hasn't had any oxygen for 2 hours. And he keeps going, kill me, kill me, kill me, push the red button, push the red button. So they're trying to figure something out, and finally he's getting too close to Earth, so Kent Taylor does the dude and blows him up. Well, parts of the spaceship land on the beach, including a fucking severed arm. And the whole, I guess the premise of this is some alien life form had taken over the body of the astronaut and is still basically alive in this burned, severed arm. So, of course, they find it on the beach, and the hero, Rod Lauren was the hero. He takes it back, and of course it comes back to life and sort of strangles him, but then does strangle his landlady, and of course he's blamed for it, but this thing's got some kind of weird possession, and he goes into the sweet shop and tries to kill the owner, and it's the jukebox, and it's the Rivington's playing Papa Ooh Mau Mau, I think, or something like that. And then the film ends in a junkyard where he's fighting the hand off with a broken beer bottle, and then the cats are eating it. Then they scoop up the hand and put it in a metal box, and they're supposed to take it someplace. But of course, at the end, they open it up, and the hand's not there with a question mark. So it was another sequel that never came. So she's falling asleep here. Look at her. Look at my cute little puppy. She's falling asleep. Ah, isn't that cute? There we go. I don't know. Oh, Boots is on the bottom there. Boots lays down there. But anyway, that's our show for today. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with our final episode of the Halloween Extravaganza. So until then, stay safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side. I gotta get up now. Oops.